Hey, what is up, guys? We are here with the Devora character breakdown. If you haven't seen our other character breakdowns, we basically go over the character's notable normals, strings, special moves, differences between all their variations, as well as just go over a basic game plan. So Devora, walk speed is pretty slow, forward and backwards. The run speed is pretty quick. It's, looking pretty average. It doesn't look super quick to me as far as like some of the fastest in the game, but it definitely looks pretty fast, which is really great for her mobility. Now, Devora is, if you're into space control, defensive characters who have really good mix-ups, this is kind of your thing, right? You're not an offensive powerhouse, but you definitely have really great abilities to control space, and you have some mix-ups. So this is a character who is really interesting. She's one of the new characters, and she has a lot of stuff in MK that I'm not super used to seeing, that it's really, really fun to mess around with. So her normals cover a ton of space. First one that I want to look at is her down 2. This is one of the best anti-airs in the game. It is very, very, very strong. This is a really, really great normal. And you're going to use this a lot because people are going to try to jump over your great normals and your great zoning. So this down 2 is really important. So I thought I would just mention that. Bring it up right away. One of the best down 2s in the game. Now, her other normals that go pretty far, she has this forward 1-1 string, which is special cancelable on both hits. Forward 2-2, also special cancelable. That is an overhead if you guys didn't see that. It's an overhead. She has a low with her back 1. She has another overhead with her forward 3. So she has all these rangy kind of normals to control space with, and they're all special cancelable, right? Which is really great because she does have some awesome specials to cancel them into. And pretty much everything Devora does, like all her strings and everything like that, are juggles. So here's the overhead, right? There's a little juggle after it, and you can, do whatever you want right there. So yeah, she has all these rangy normals, and almost all of them are special cancelable. There's also a string on this, in case you guys were wondering. And yeah, all of them are special cancelable, and they all have some kind of overhead or low property, and they all juggle. That's pretty much how I would describe her strings. They're really interesting. I definitely recommend checking them out for yourself in training mode. So she has all these great normals and everything like that that we just went over, but what makes them so scary is her special moves. So her special moves are universal. Like she pretty much has the same special moves, give or take maybe one. And every variation, they just do different things. So in this version, she has down forward 1, which she has in every stance. It's a little projectile. EX there does more damage. It is a high. And in this stance and Swarm Queen, she can dash cancel it forward or backwards, which is really good for stuff like this. You do this, and then you dash forward. You can do like overhead, or you can do low, or you can do a grab, or whatever you want, right? So yeah, that is her projectile. Down forward 1. She has another projectile, down back 1, which is a homing low attack. Now, in this stance, it doesn't really do much if it hits non-EX. The EX version, you do a neutral jump punch and whatever combo you want to go for. And it's really good for this kind of stuff. Or whoops, for this kind of stuff, like setting it up on your opponent's wake up. And it recovers so fast that if you do like this, you can almost always block if they jump. If they have an armored move, they can get through it, but that takes a meter, and depending on the character, they may or may not get a combo. It just depends. So yeah, really great move right there, which is, down back 1. She also has down back 4. Looks just like that. It is a little stab move. It's actually pretty safe if you space it really far, but it is like -11 or -14 on block. I think the EX version is -11. It's the EX version. So there's that. The other universal move she has is actually an air throw. She has forward and backwards air throw, which is really great because you can set them up back at full screen and start going back to this stuff. So that is that. Now, the interesting thing about Broodmother is she has another special move that's not in the other ones, which is her down forward 3. Now that's a low. This little homie there that she calls out is a low. So if you do this and then you run up and do like overhead, then that's an overhead low. So it gets pretty tricky pretty quickly, right? And that allows her to do mix-ups and control space in a way that the other ones don't. Especially since if you're doing this over and over, it recovers pretty quick, right? So your opponent's going to be ducking, which means you get to set up the bug, run up, do overhead, and then do another overhead or something like that, right? And confirm it into whatever combo. So really good for controlling space. Slow-moving projectiles are just good in general. It's really hard for those not to be a good choice. So let's check out her Swarm Queen. Swarm Queen is much more setup heavy. It's more offense oriented than the other ones. Now, the reason this one is a little bit more aggressive, this first of all is a little slower than the other one. It is a mid. It's not a high like the other one, but it does have a juggle property or stagger property. So as you can see, that was actually a combo. So yeah, that's a 2-hit combo right there. Just like the other stance, dash cancelable. So this kind of stuff still exists. Still go for that kind of stuff. Pretty similar. The one other change that's very important for this stance is her down back 1 now becomes a swarm, which means she can combo off it. So before, you had to EX it to get that jump punch. Now you don't have to. The EX version just, yeah, super high, super big pop up into whatever. So suddenly this mix-up becomes much more frightening because if they don't block, then they get comboed. And so you can combo twice into it, or you can do this into it, or you can do her low into it, or you can do her far down 4 into it. So she has all these tricky ways to tick into that. Now, if your opponent starts jumping or armoring through it, you can just do nothing after, anti-air, or block their reversal. Or you can do that and dash cancel, you know, go for mix-ups and stuff like that. So you have ways to change things, right? And mix things up. So Swarm Queen, really interesting, very good for setups and stuff like that. Especially like you throw somebody, then you get like afterwards you get like this free little setup right here, and if they try to run or jump or get out of it, you can anti-air them, and yeah, they're just gonna take a lot of damage. So that is Swarm Queen. Whoops, I went down to the bottom. The last one, we say Venomous for last because this one is a little bit different than the other two, and now that you understand how our normals work and everything, this one will make a lot more sense. So as you can probably tell, this one has some poison damage attached to it. That's why it's called Venomous. And it's on a certain couple of special moves. So her down forward one in this one, her projectile, definitely not dash cancelable. But if you hold it, it shoots for a while. And if you EX it, the same kind of thing, you can hold it for a while. And she has some unique things in this one, right? So she has that, as well as her down back 4 is special. Now, the reason this stance is so dangerous is any projector or any normal that looks like this, right, that comes out like that, which she uses her little stingers, has a poison effect. So if I do forward 2 and it hits, you can look up at Liu Kang's health, and it's doing some poison damage. That's not a lot, right? What happens if I hit, you know, this normal twice? It starts to add up, right? Remember that great neutral jump punch she has? Well, suddenly that combo does a ton of poison damage over time. So yeah, this move does a lot of poison damage. So that adds a bunch. Her neutral jump punch adds a bunch. So yeah, if you get creative with your combo, you can find, you know, look at how much poison damage that is. That's a lot. That is a lot of poison damage to eat. She also has a recapture kind of move or a restand. I'm, you know, a little used to the recapture with this move. Her down forward 1. So you remember, and you know, you can't dash cancel it or anything in this variation, but it's really great because all of those juggles she had before that we were talking about, everything that juggles, suddenly this is a thing. And then you go for overhead lows, and if they get hit, then they eat poison damage. So you just do this. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so yeah, you can do this into that, and then you can go low, and that move also adds poison damage. So suddenly you have poison damage, poison damage, poison damage, poison damage, poison damage. So pretty much anything you connect with is going to add a poison modifier to them. So at this stance, if they start running into things and they get hit by 1 or 2 or 3 mix-ups, all these stray hits can suddenly be 30% of poison damage without you even doing a combo. So very, very dangerous stuff. This character is super fun, really, really interesting. And if you guys are interested at all in defensive characters with good normals and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend trying out D'Vorah. I think she's super, super cool. I think she's super fun. And her normals are great. She's, you know, has all these interesting mechanics. And I think she's a really good character. So I definitely recommend checking her out if you guys are into that style. And yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this character breakdown. And I will see you guys again soon.